Are we live?
I think we're live.
Oh, yay.
Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. As always, on Wednesdays, we go live. I love that on Wednesdays we wear pink. I was just thinking of like Mean Girls. On Wednesdays, we go live.
Oh, we should wear pink, but we're not
with
Mean
you.
Girls.
We're not Mean Girls. With my sweet
We'll
friend
stick with
Amber
orange.
Coleman.
Well, you're wearing pink.
I'm wearing pink. On Wednesdays, we go live instead of on Wednesdays, we wear pink. We're going to get like a shirt made. That's totally what we're doing.
We should, yeah.
Hi, welcome. So we're actually going to spend a few minutes just chatting for a minute to give you guys a chance to come on live with us. We have a tendency to jump right in, and I have a feeling that we're leaving some good bits of info off of the front side of this. Is that your phone going off?
I thought I silenced that.
I am gonna. That's a $5 fee and fine for her. She gets in trouble. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us already, we really appreciate you guys. Today, this is for you. They're always for you. When we go live on Wednesdays, these are always meant for you, by us for you. So if you have questions about anything related to Vegas, it doesn't have to be real estate related. Drop it in the comments box below. We will make sure to get to as many of those questions as possible before we end our amazing live stream, our normal Wednesday live stream. But today is going to be pretty focused on real estate, especially because, you know, that's what we do for a living. I'm here with Amber. She's the best, one of the best, absolutely.
Oh, goodness. You make my head really big every week.
I'm going to pump it.
You know, you should come in every day.
I'm going to do the air thing. Yeah.
You can see it growing like as the stream goes on.
I'm going to gas her up, but it's all from truth, honestly. Amber is one of the best loan originators in the nation. And I'm fortunate enough that she's befriended me and she's taught me her ways, and she
we taught each other, right?
Yes.
It's an equal exchange, right?
It is. And she brings her knowledge to us every single week, and I'm super grateful for it. Amber, I don't think I've ever met anybody more passionate about the industry that we're in, including myself. I genuinely think you got me trumped on that front. And
I don't know about that.
I'm just so grateful because, you know, Amber calls me throughout the week 4 or 5 times, you know, 4 times a week going, okay, girl, what are you hearing about this? Okay, here's what I just found out about that. And it's always about how can we help people learn the truth, right?
Your favorite is here, this is what I'm feeling right now.
This is what I'm feeling right now. She's got a crystal ball that I'm not really supposed to talk about. That's usually pretty accurate. So again, thank you for joining us live. We were just spending a few minutes getting started to give you guys a chance to come on with us. We are talking housing market today. It's on the top of everyone's mind, especially with the news that came out 5 minutes after we finished our last live stream where we declared we're already in a freaking recession. Why are we waiting for someone else to tell us that?
But
right?
You know, they're still arguing about it though. They're still arguing.
We know there's a recession, and here's what it is. It is what it is. Okay, let's freaking deal with it and move forward. But the cool thing I want to talk about today is a few things. So we're going to walk through the agenda so you guys know what to expect. We're going to talk about kind of what's in the news. We're going to address some of the headlines that we're seeing that you're probably seeing too, and maybe just shed a little bit of light on kind of why it's really stupid and why some of it is just like, come on, let's get with it.
Let's do it.
Then we're going to talk about what's normal. What's a normal market? What would we normally be seeing right now if all of the pandemic and everything hadn't happened? Then we're going to talk about what are you afraid of and really try to address some of those fears.
Get vulnerable.
We're going to get vulnerable.
Yes.
Going to bring some good news to you, talk about some things that are positive in the market and positive in the world these days. And then, of course, we're going to answer your questions and talk about some awesome programs that you should know about. So I'm ready to get into it. Are you?
Let's do it.
All right. Again, if you're watching us, please drop comments in the box below. We will definitely look at getting to your questions at the end. But let's start with our first agenda item, my friend. What's in the news?
Well, you know, I happen to have the news pulled up.
I know.
Here.
It's like she's got her 19 screens, if you can't tell, behind us here. This woman works in like the Matrix. It's the best.
I have to have computers to keep up with the brain, right?
It's the best.
The brain moves
so,
fast.
but like buzzwords right now: recession, market crash,
inflation.
Buyers should be scared. Sellers should be scared.
Oh yeah,
inflation.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just buzzwords, right? Buzzwords that are all
none of them are positive,
fearful and negative, right?
Yeah. Why is there so much fear right now?
Well, we're going to talk about. Read me some of these headlines that we just pulled up. This was a quick Google search. The first 3 or 4 articles we found.
Seller beware. U.S. home buyers are backing out of deals at the highest rate since the start of the pandemic.
Here's what that means for real estate.
Seller beware
Scary?
is the beginning. Scary. Okay, give me something else.
Okay. The housing market correction takes an unexpected turn.
Unexpected turn. Ooh,
that sounds anxiety-ish right there. The housing market is correcting. So why are home prices still soaring?
Okay, so those two conflict with one another, or the first one and the next, that one conflicts with them. This is saying prices are still going up. The other one's saying seller beware. People are backing out, which means prices go down. Cool. What else you got? that it?
Those three is what we pulled up. I can pull up more screens though.
So we could do this all damn day.
We could. I mean, honestly, you could pull up. We just pulled up the first three, but
and they conflict
found
with
them
one
in
another.
what, 2 seconds?
In 2.3 seconds.
Yeah.
And the reality of the situation is that all of them say one thing: be afraid, be very afraid. Buyers, be afraid.
Why do you think that is?
Sellers, be afraid. Builders. There was one that we had up about builders too that said builders should be so scared right now. Builders should be afraid. You should be afraid. I should be afraid because this is what I do for a living. You should be afraid because this is fear is all they're selling, and it's bullshit.
But do you know who's controlled when we fear? We're controlled when we fear.
We become lemmings. We become the lemmings.
I guess we shouldn't fear, huh?
No fear. So the headlines all speak and scream, be afraid, be very afraid. And it's on purpose, right? We talked about that a few weeks ago. You know, the government wants us to be afraid because they want us to go and stop spending money because they want inflation to come down, right? That's a big part of the conversation, right? They're inciting fear,
and housing does have a lot to do with inflation.
Yes.
So
yes.
They're causing fear to get us to stop.
Yeah.
But is that best for us?
No, I don't believe it is. Here's the reality of the situation. You know, the normal market that we would be in right now is exactly what we're feeling right now. 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 17 years ago, this time of the year, this is what happens in the market. What happens? It's school. School's out.
Oh, you mean like this
right
time,
now?
Right now. Yeah, because the kids are going back to school next week. So the last 2 years we've all forgotten because it was crazy, right? So the next week the kids go back to school. The week the kids before they go back to school, parents are school shopping. I mean, I work in a mall. It's crazy to leave at nighttime.
Nobody's buying a house right now.
Yeah,
right?
Kids are they're school shopping, and then the next 2 weeks afterwards, you're focused on what parent-teacher conferences, what you have to go to after, getting your kids ready, all that stuff. So for about a month, we're halted.
This happens every single year.
Every time, except COVID years, but we're not in a normal COVID years anymore. We're back to normal life now, right?
So this is a normal market. Now we know the market is softening, but it needed to, right? We were rooting for it to just take a damn breath for a minute, right?
And to be able to gain, I mean, I was listening to an economist today, and to be able to gain 15% in a year is unhealthy. We gained like 25% in a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now they're saying that we should go back to a normal market, which is 2 to 5% in equity that we're gaining per year. That's great news.
Yeah.
Because that means that we're not going to go through these right now.
Well, this last year was a psychotic ride on a carnival that I never want to go to again. So,
and when I say these, I mean like our mentality.
Of course, yeah. So we just want to bring kind of the truth of what's reality. The fear mongering is absolutely evident, and we want to be people who are bringing some positivity forth. We will never sit here and tell you go buy a house if it's not a good time for you specifically to go buy a house. But the reality is, this is a very individual, very specific decision that needs to be made, and everyone. Not everybody, but most people, the lemmings, are watching these news stats and these news headlines, and they're letting that make the decision for them instead of digging in and talking to an expert and making an individualized decision. If it's not a good time for you to buy, Amber's going to tell you, might want to wait a little bit. Maybe this is going to be better for you if you could put this much more money away, or you get this off of your credit, or this gets paid off, right? So we're very honest, and unfortunately we're too honest sometimes. Very honest. And we want to make sure you know that we want to make sure you're not making decisions based on headlines, and you're making decisions for you based on what an expert who you trust has told you. So about your situation.
And honestly, in decision making, right? If I'm making a decision for my own personal self, if I feel confusion or if I feel fear, I know that I'm not in the right place.
Exactly.
Like I know that I need to step back and assess whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if the media is making any of those things happen, confusion or fear,
everybody's stopping.
Step back.
Yeah.
Like listen to what's in here. Right.
We know that Las Vegas is on the top of everyone's mind because obviously this is such an amazing city to live in. We know that so many of you watch this channel because you're thinking of dreaming of and thinking of moving here someday. Some of you are already here. We thank you for watching us as well. So our goal really is to just bring forth some truth in the situation. So should we be fearful? Maybe. Some things out there are not fun. I get scared when I have to go on a long drive because I know I have to fill my tank up with really expensive gas. So that's some fear that I'm feeling on a daily basis.
I mean, I get scared when I walk out late at night.
Right.
It's pretty dark outside.
But when it comes to housing, you should be scared if you start to see builders stop building homes, right? If you see permits not being pulled, right?
Yeah, if you're wanting to watch the market, watch the permits. That's the thing is we can't really listen to the people that are trying to make us fearful and scared, but we can watch the stats on things.
Yeah.
And as the
numbers
builders
don't lie. Yeah.
And especially when you're looking in Vegas, right? Majority of builders are nationwide builders. They're big builders. So and it's released monthly. It's released all the time how many people they have walking in, how many permits they're pulling. As long as they're pulling permits, we know we're okay.
Yeah.
We know we're okay. So if we're going to follow something, you follow people's money, not follow their words. You just follow what they're doing with their money.
And we know people are, what are people scared of? We were going to talk about that. We did a whole thing last week on what are you scared of? And we so appreciate you being so vulnerable with us. A lot of you gave us some great comments. We really appreciate the back and forth. We know rates have been scary. We know plummeting prices is something that is scaring people, right?
I love those big words
plummeting.
Too. Like they're scary words. When you say plummeting, that's like, that gets you to feel something inside, right?
Prices are not plummeting, just FYI. We know, not getting a deal is scary, and that's making people hold back. I just want to get a deal. I'm not going to buy unless I can get a deal, right? Grants are going away, and people are getting scared of that. And they're not going away, by the way, but that's what things are saying. People are saying to us, well, the grant that I want to run away, so I guess I can't buy the house. Why don't we talk about a different strategy? Maybe you can, right? So we know there's fear. We know that there's fear mongering. We just want and hope that you'll listen and trust us when we say to you, this is feeling like a normal market again. Thank heaven, right?
Yes.
Thank heaven.
And we have to go through swings where we go from seller's market to buyer's market to seller's market to buy, because honestly, it keeps everybody honest.
Absolutely. Yeah, it keeps us all honest. We're seeing more homes hit the market, which is wonderful because a lot of the people trying to sell now were waiting for the top of the market, and now they probably wait a little bit too long, right? So in the reverse, if you're looking at buying, we don't want you to make that same mistake, right? We know a lot of you watching this are waiting for the crash. I'm waiting for it to hit bottom. But guess what everybody else is doing? They're waiting for that same moment. And guess what? Who you're going to be fighting in that moment? Everyone else. So we're trying to talk to you today a little bit about it. We're in kind of a sweet spot right now, a really sweet spot. We always talk about don't date marry the house, date the rate.
Marry the house, date the rate.
So if rates are a concern for you, good news. Let's get some updates on rates.
Okay, so here's the update on rates. Last week, the Fed spoke, right?
Fed spoke.
That's what it feels like. They raised the rate for short-term loans, 75 basis points. But what they said is the market is softening. What they said caused the market to pull back, and the bond market went down. The bond markets are directly related to rates. Rates actually went down. So kind of the opposite effect, like when the Fed speak, everybody's like, they raise rates. That's not our rates. Rates actually went down, and I saw them hit on Monday almost a whole % lower than the highest of this year, which was probably like 2 weeks ago.
And I'm pretty sure for the last 3 months, we've been saying a recession is a horrible word, but it's great for home buyers because this is exactly what's going to happen. To prove I've been saying the truth for so long, just so that can help instill some trust in who you're watching, that we're saying this and we've been saying it, and that's exactly what happened.
I mean, honestly, we've been saying it since like COVID.
We've been saying it since COVID, actually.
Yeah, but you can go back that far if you want
to. Have fun with that. We'd love to have you watch our channel.
Yeah, keep going back.
So rates are softening.
Rates are softening right now. So here's what, we've been seeing this happen, right, for the whole year. 3%. We rose from January to, well, maybe almost 3%, but it felt like 3%. January to June or July, we raised it. And so now we're going to be going like this. Now, let me put a disclaimer out there. We still have inflation.
Yes.
So people are going to say, well, then I'm just going to wait till rates are going to get to their lowest. But how do you know that? And do you think rates are really going to hit 2s and 3s again when the feds have worked so hard to be able to cause pain for us this year?
Because it was there.
Because of inflation. So that's why we're going to see bounces right now.
But bounces kind of from the baseline of where we are right now, right?
From the baseline of where we are right now, we'll see it bounce up and bounce down. And then depending on the news. So the sweet spot is right now sellers are scared, right? The school's going back. We know because we're educated, right? And you guys are watching us.
But sellers are seeing less buyers out here because they're fearful, because it's school time, because there's like all the things,
it's summer.
Right?
It's summer and everybody's on vacation.
So sellers are like, oh my God. So what does that mean for a buyer? That buyers deal that you're worried about.
You can go in and negotiate closing costs. You can go in and negotiate price. You can negotiate. Woohoo.
Yeah.
And then also when you hit that sweet spot, it means that rates are softening right now. I don't think they're going to go down crazy because they can't.
Yeah.
That would cause the opposite effect of inflation.
That would undo all of the work that we had to painfully go through.
So that's why we're going to see this. And if you're watching and if you're paying attention, then you can catch it why it's on the lowest level, but you can also catch a deal too.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be a lot more beneficial to you compared to even buying through COVID.
Yeah.
Because COVID, you were paying so much more than a house is worth.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You can ask for things from the seller. So if you put all this in
repairs
the dollar
done.
amount,
Yeah.
and you're not going to catch low rates like you did COVID, but when you're adding up, that was the only benefit during COVID. And now we have prices that are way softened from where they were in COVID, because then it was over appraised value. We have rates that are starting to soften, so we're not at the high levels. We're starting to hit right here, right now. It's a sweet spot, and you just have to see it. It was like Sunday night that I felt like, okay, we're gonna start seeing houses move again.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monday I was like, oh, with the rate.
Yeah. Great news. Yeah.
So anybody that was already in contract, I was able to say, okay, we just hit like a crazy low level that we haven't seen in a while. Not to say that it's the lowest of all time.
No, but it's
the lowest compared to what it has.
And it's probably the lowest it will be for a while. It might bump down a little bit, but you're not going to see 2%. You're just not going to see.
And you have to be ready to jump, because it turns on a dime.
Yeah. So let me reiterate that. So we talk a lot about, we want you to call us now. We don't care if you're buying for 10 years in your mind. We still want to know about it now. And we say that for that reason specifically. I'm here to tell you, there's probably at least 50 clients that called me and said, I'm not moving there for another 5 years, 10 years, 7 years, 2 years, whatever. But because they did the phone call, we got to know each other. We stayed in touch. Because they talked to Amber and they just wanted to talk about their options, when they were going to be ready. They had a relationship already started. We had started to get their information. And then all of a sudden they got a hair up their ass and decided they wanted to move to Vegas sooner, or they were going to buy something in the meantime, or they got a bonus at their work and wanted to put the money into something cool like real estate here in Las Vegas. And boom, they were already established with us, and it made it that much easier, that much faster. And we were able to get them in and get them going like lightning fast. If you're starting from the baseline of, oh, that girl that I watched on YouTube, that was a cool video. I guess, where did she say I could find her? By the way, it's always in the description of our videos. If you ever want to know how to get in touch with us, it's always in the description. I like how you always put the disclaimers always in the description. However, there's oftentimes people in the comments, just tell me how we can get in touch with you. Why were you not already in touch with us is the question. So please, please, please get in touch with us and just start the conversation. We don't pressure you. We don't freaking care when it's your time, but we're going to be ready when it is your time. And we want to make sure you are too. So, so because we're in this amazing sweet spot right now with the market, let me talk about some cool stuff that we're doing, right? So I represent sellers a lot, right? We have people in town that are listing homes that are effing scared, and they're having to, the houses are
not calling you 5 times a day.
Yes, the houses are not appraising lower, so the values are not going down, and that's the thing I want to make sure you leave from this with. The values of homes are still where they were when people were paying crazy amounts.
It takes time for appraisers to,
and I don't even know that they'll slide down, because I really am hoping a lot of other agents are going to do this as well. Sellers are still scared though, because they're not getting their house sold in 3.2 seconds. Back in the day, and I say back in the day, pre-COVID, it could take 6 months to sell your house. It could take a year to sell your house, because that's just what it was like. That was more of a normal market. Now we're used to people getting 72 offers in less than 24 hours, and they can't even read all of them because their head is spinning, right? So we're normalizing. You can sleep on it. You can make the decision sound decision, all that. You can compare. You can look at what else hits the market. So sellers are nervous. And because of that, as I represent sellers, we're trying to do what we can to balance things out and be upfront with our buyers. So a couple of my sellers are actually deciding to do a very cool thing upfront, so that they are not affecting the market in a long-term value way. It helps the buyer feel really good and feel even better about their rate, which we'll talk about in a minute going into it. And then it also makes them feel good because they're getting exactly what they wanted from a price perspective. It's called a 3-2-1 buy down is a rate program that she's going to talk about in a minute. And my sellers are listing the home saying, if you give me a full price offer, which isn't overpriced, it's at the valued offer, right? It's a valued appraised value. Then we will help you buy down your rate before you close on the house. Let's talk about how they can do that.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the 2-1 buy down. So
I don't know if it's 3-2-1.
2 of them, but then it'll take a long time.
That's fine. Just do it.
Answer all the questions. So a 2-1 buy down. You have. Okay, so you're on. It's a 30-year fixed amortized rate, and the seller is paying the money to buy your rate down 2% on the first year that you're paying on the house.
2%.
So yeah. So these are. So let's just throw out a random rate. Well, I don't know if I can even do that.
I can do that. Because I'm not a licensed. Okay. Let's pretend I got approved for 5.5%. So
then 2% below that would be
3.5%.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry. Excuse me. What? The first year I get 3.5% on my loan?
Yes, that's what
Does
you
that
do.
mean
You didn't have to pay it. The seller just paid it for you. So you have that low rate the first year, and then the second year, it's 1% lower than the going rate.
Okay.
So
the going rate at that time?
Yeah, well, no, when you bought the house.
Okay.
So that it all
So then
starts
I
when
would
you
be
bought
at
the house.
4.5%.
4.5% the second year that you're in it. And then when you get to the third year, then you're at the normal rate that you would have been at anyway, right? So you're saving all of that payment year 1, year 2. You didn't have to pay for anything. The seller just paid for all of that for you. Year 1, year 2.
So instead of coming in and offering $5,000 less on that list price, knowing that the house is comped and listed, comparable, it's not overlisted, right? Why would you ask for $5,000 off on top when you can ask for that? Look at the money savings, look at the difference, and she'll be able to do the math.
Nobody's doing this right now. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's thinking outside the box, and there's so many different ways. When you're in this sweet spot where you got a little bit of fear, you're on the buyer side, right? You can ask for things that are outside the box that will benefit you hugely. And here's the thing too. Remember how we're saying marry the house, date the rate. This way, you're getting lower. You're saving a lot of money those 2 years. But the minute that market changes and you can see a rate that you like,
you refinance.
You refinance it. You haven't lost anything, right? Because most economists are saying within the next couple years
that the rates
we should be seeing rates at a different level than they are now.
It doesn't really make sense to buy your own rate down unless you know you're never going to move out of the house. It doesn't pan out for like 30 years or something, right? Or 20 something years.
It's a long time, because think about it. If a seller's buying your rate down 2%, so 5.5 compared to 3.5. Hopefully I'm not going to get in trouble for saying rates, but let me just put the disclaimer on here that we're just throwing out rates right now. This is not what rates are.
It's not what the rates are.
We're just trying to give you examples. So the seller's paying all that. That's hundreds of dollars within your payment, right? So you're going to save all of that money at their expense. And then the second year, you're still going to save a lot of money at their expense. Yeah. But they're having to pay all that you're saving. So everything that you're saving, that's on the seller's expense.
And the seller doesn't, if they're smart, doesn't see that as a loss, because it's apples. It's no difference, right? They can take $5,000 off the top and give you a less of a purchase price, or they could take $5,000 off the top and help you buy your rate down. Doesn't matter to the seller, right? So for us as selling agents, for me as a listing agent, I'm going out there telling right now all my listings, hey, let's give this a shot and see if we can be the educators to the buyers and the agents on the market who don't know how to be savvy like this, who don't know how to be strategic, right? And then for anybody working with us, guess what? If you go into it knowing that that's what we're going to need and that's what we're going to demand in order for you to be able to qualify for a certain level home, whatever that looks like, if that's what we go into it with, then that's how we write our offer. Then we come to the agent and say, hey, listen, I know you're listed at $469, but we kind of were going to offer $465, because that's what the house down the street's listed for. How about we offer $469 and you give us that $5,000 back in closing, or in rate buy down. And it's us helping to not only educate our buyers, but we're also hoping to educate other sellers and listing agents to realize it doesn't always have to be A, B, and C, black and white, right? You can get into the gray when you're in these sweet spots.
Well, and if you think about it, if you really just think about it, the market went crazy because of rates, right? We weren't buying houses, we were buying rates. This is a way for that to still happen. So the house prices went like this while the rates were down here. And so now we think, okay, crap, we're screwed because now rates are here, right?
And house prices haven't moved.
And house prices hasn't moved. And so now you think you're screwed. But it's just a way to control the market more as individuals instead of letting the media control us. Because we're still going to get that lower rate, because you can do a 2-1 buy down, 3-1 buy down, or you can just do a straight buy down on a 30-year fix. You can take that money and apply it whatever way is comfortable for you to do it, but you can still get that low rate and the house prices. I would think this is a better market 100%. Than COVID. You just have to learn how to see it, right? And thank you for enlightening us.
Thank you for enlightening us. So we are being a little bit silly, but we're genuinely serious about this. If you are holding back because a grant program went away that you were hoping to take advantage of, why don't we ask the seller to contribute as part of the grant program that you're reading, and come in knowing that's what we have to ask for. It's not, listen, there's always a yes. There's always a yes. We can find the yes. That's what we do. We search for the yes and we find it. And we want to make sure that you know.
If you don't answer if you don't ask the question, you never get a yes, right?
And so
if you don't give what you don't ask
for. It's exciting for us to be able to say these things to you because, not a lot of other agents are doing this. Not a lot of other buyers and sellers are really thinking
People
this
really
way.
Have a hard time thinking outside the box.
It's tough, and we get it. And listen, I don't blame you with all these headlines that we just read you and all the fear mongering. It's scary as shit. I'm scared, right? I get scared when my friends call me, they're chuckling, thinking that they're making a joke, saying the market's going to crash. And I'm like, that's my livelihood here. What are you laughing about? Why are we all excited about the market crashing?
Why do people want it to crash?
It's not healthy for our city, for our country, for our livelihoods, right?
Yeah.
And here's the other thing I want to just make sure you all know. Yes, the market's softening in terms of prices. Values have not gone down yet, so please keep that in mind. So that means you might get a little bit of a deal on a house that's still valued a little bit higher. If values start to slip down, reminder, this is a long-term investment. Real estate is a long-term investment. If it goes down, it will always come back up. Trust me.
Look at you know what? Don't even trust what we're saying because we don't want to be part of the confusion. Look at the stats. Look at housing over 30 years. Look at housing over 10 years. Look at housing over whatever. You're always going to see a good movement.
Yeah.
But it's always going to go like this.
And
you're going to see that.
So we're getting more inventory, which is great. Market is softening in terms of like the ability to negotiate that sweet spot we just talked about. We've got some badass programs like this, that this is the only kind of market you can use those programs and you can ask for those things, right? So this is the time, my friends. If you're really wanting to strike and you've been holding on the fence, get off the damn fence and move forward. But the other thing that's not changing is rent's not going down ever again.
Well,
I promise
to be honest with you, that's what's going to keep the housing market moving.
Rent's not changing.
We talked about in another live stream, which you should go back and watch all of the live
streams. By the way, please go back and watch all our live streams.
I liked how I plugged it. That's always your job. That was a proud moment for me. Okay. But we talked about how the market, like everybody's talking about this crash because we're hitting normal levels again. So it's funny how we went from like the craziest market ever to normal, and then we're talking about crash.
It's stabilizing,
but it's stabilizing right now. But the market can't crash unless inventory rises to a crazy high level. That can't happen because there's not enough houses unless there's foreclosures.
Why would you foreclose if you have equity in that home?
And why would you foreclose when you got a 2 to 3% interest rate that you just refinanced during the COVID period, which is what 75% of Americans did. So and plus, why would you foreclose if you have to then buy a house or like rent a house at a higher payment than what you pay? Like there's so many factors in there.
The recipe doesn't say foreclosure.
Let's think common sense right now. There's not a foreclosure market happening. So there's so many things pointing against it. But again, go look at the graphs on that too.
We'll happily put a web page up with all the graphs.
We can totally put a web page up.
So the good news is, it's a sweet spot right now, and it will be probably for another month or two. I'd say I don't even know. I don't even want to predict. I hope it's a sweet spot for a really, really long time. But
at least
but your situation is what's really going to dictate what you need to do and what's possible. So I just want to remind you, like, we're here anytime. Anytime you want to talk, please, I've pinned it in the comments below, so you can definitely check out, you can text us, you can call us, you can email us. There's a form you can fill out. We can call you. Like, there's 9 ways from Sunday to get in touch with us. In every description of every video on my channel and on Amber's channel, please go subscribe. There's a contact information as well. We are here for you. We want to answer your specific individual questions about your situation, because all the stuff we're talking about can work for you. We just have to figure out how it should work for you. And there's always a yes. And
there's always a way, always a way. Sometimes it's not tomorrow, but there's always a way to make it work. You just have to believe it.
It's, we say this a lot, and I want to reiterate it because it's one of our favorite sayings. What do they say? It's be fearful when
I knew you were going to.
I always mess it up. Hold on.
It's be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful.
Everyone is scared right now. Thank you, Warren Buffett. Everyone is scared. So it's time to get greedy. It's time to start thinking strategically, right?
And to be honest with you, as a buyer, it's your time. Like
it's also okay as a seller too. This is a good time for sellers too, if you're strategic and you don't have a butthead of a realtor who doesn't know how to do research and list your property right.
This is not the butthead.
Thank you.
She's the one to list your property because honestly, look at what you're doing for online, right? You're helping people understand when the rest of the world is doing this, right?
Scared
tactics. And honestly, some agents are like, sell now before, they're throwing you're throwing hope out there and options on how to do it. So that speaks volumes.
Let's be greedy because everyone else is scared. Thank you, Warren Buffett. And when everybody else gets greedy, you're going to be sitting back in your beautiful new home in Las Vegas, scratching your chin saying, what can I do next? That's a smart move for my life. So I also want to just reiterate too, while it's hard to not join the ranks of people talking crap about what's happening. It's hard to not, unless you want to be argumentative, to not turn into someone who's a bit cynical as well. I've even had that happen to myself in the last few months, just kind of trying to
I have
sort
too,
through
and I was
it.
like, what is that?
So it's not time to be cynical. It's time to celebrate. This is a sweet spot, and we really want you to take advantage of it.
I mean, honestly, there's beauty in every market,
100%.
Right?
And here's what I'm happy to report. We've probably got another full year of really, really cool things like this, moments like this that are coming out. But even if now's not when you're looking to buy, I don't want you to get down. Oh, see, I knew it. Now's the only time, and the sweet spot's only now. There's always a yes.
There's a sweet spot in every market,
in every situation, in every market.
We'll find it and help you see what it is. Yeah, we're pretty good at that, right?
Grants are still a bit. You're amazing at that. Grants, you're like one of those pigs that hunt truffles. Like you're like truffle hunting for the deals, but you're not a pig. You're a unicorn.
I'm like, I don't like the pig.
I know, but you're like, those are really amazing, glorious animals. You need to be thankful.
They are that we eat though.
Okay, next. Anyway, let's get to some questions. I hope we didn't ramble too long. I really wanted to make sure that we had a full in-depth conversation with you, because this is what we do by ourselves all day, every damn day. We sit here and talk about this shit all the time.
We really do. And if something comes to the mind, we're like,
yeah. So we want to just make sure that you get to be a part of this, because we're learning and we want to share what we're learning along with you. It is a sweet spot, my friends. Right before we came on, somebody had commented.
We should have had like a sweet something in here.
No, we're not doing that. No. It's summertime still, bathing suit season. But it's a sweet spot of the market, and even if it's not your time to buy, we still want to meet you and we want to discuss with you what your options are, so that when it is your time, we can find that sweet spot for you. So not a time to be cynical. It's time to celebrate.
Love it.
How many other cool sayings? Be greedy when those are fearful, which is every damn person on the planet right now. So time to get greedy, my friends. Let's check out the awesome questions that everybody is sending us. Okay. Hey guys. Oh my God. I love this. Hey, Carrie. Nice to see you. Hey, Oscar. Good to see you. Tish. Good to see you as well. Hey, Brent. Oh, he says Amber's a finance genius. Look at that.
Thanks,
hello.
Brent.
James Swift says, really interested in your guys' opinions on how the water situation will affect homeowners. Best case scenario, home prices rise because of the lack of water and limited land left to develop it. James, I don't know where the limited land is coming from. We do live in a desert area that's very vast, and there's quite a bit of land. A lot of the land is owned by the BLM. The government owns it, and they parcel off certain pieces of land to sell every single year. So we're not out of land. And the water crisis,
where the builders get their
land. Yeah. We're definitely not out of land or running out of land. And we've talked about the water crisis a lot. I'm happy to let you speak on it as well, but we're not water experts. But I personally don't feel like the water situation is doing anything to affect prices directly. It's more so affecting the questions you guys are asking, the decisions you may or may not make as to whether or not you move here because of whatever. So again, because of fear. So I just want to please remind you,
that's very fearful right now.
Go to the effing source when it comes to that. Go to the Nevada Water Authority, check out the articles that they're putting out and learn from what they're doing. They've been working on this crisis for 35 years, 45 years, 55 years. Okay. It's not news to us. And we're going to be just fine. That's my bottom line. We're going to be just fine. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts is that as far as the water goes, people are pinpointing to Las Vegas, but it's actually Utah, Las Vegas,
Colorado,
California,
Arizona,
in a whole.
Yeah,
Arizona.
Southwest.
It's really anything that feeds off of the Colorado River. That's millions and millions of people.
We've known about it for a while,
it's
guys.
not just Las Vegas. California is in big trouble right now with their water situation too, and they take a lot of Lake Mead. So being that there's so many people, plus a lot of our food supply comes from California as well, we're going to be fine. We don't need to be in a fearful state, because there's going to be things that come about.
The experts are working.
Fix the problem. They are working.
Oh my God. I had a friend call. Was it Trace? Well, somebody on my team said she had 2 or 3 people reach out to her from the East Coast saying, oh my God, are you guys okay? What, the water, I hear that you have 40 minutes before you run out of water. It was like the most crazy clickbaity shit that they were saying to her.
It's funny how these fear tactics work.
I mean, we're not, what do you mean? Yeah, I heard the government said you only have 30 minutes or 30 days or some crazy thing before they're going to whatever. And she was like, oh, honey, I don't know what clickbait you clicked on, but here's the real article. Here's what's happening. So do your research. Please do your research. Go to the source.
And the fear stuff isn't always the best, right?
Oh, somebody said 50 days of drinkable water. Pretty sure that's clickbait. I don't know. If you guys have a better article, please send it to me. But again, I'm letting the experts worry about it.
What do millions of people do then?
I don't know. I guess we're going to have to buy water from somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I mean, because honestly, go out to Lake Mead, see how big it is. Yes, it's shrunk, but you can ride days on a boat.
I think I know. I don't even want to say anymore because I feel like we're gonna sound like people who really don't know what they're talking about because we don't. We're not water experts. Okay.
Yeah.
But just know, yes, it is concerning. Of course, we want to conserve water, but look at what the water authority is saying. Please don't trust the clickbait stuff. And yeah, send me articles if you have them. I'd love to read them too. It's not, just to reiterate though, I've not seen water directly affecting prices, but I have seen people making decisions based on clickbait articles or their own research as to whether or not they move here.
And here's another thought too. The city has to give permits to the builders, right? The permits have a lot to do with the water.
Yep.
And because every household takes a certain amount of water up, right?
Yep.
The city has not pulled back on giving any permits.
And the builders have not pulled back on building.
And the builders have not built. So the fear that's out there on this might be misplaced because we would have more problems if we had truly 30 days.
Yeah.
How would they get permits?
Yeah. Like, that's interesting. So that's twice during this live stream that we've said permits tell you everything.
They do.
So the permits are going to tell you when it's time to be scared for the housing market. If permits stop being requested or being pulled,
builders are scared.
They're scared, and then we should be scared. Mm-hmm. And if permits aren't being pulled from a water perspective, or not being allowed to be pulled because of water perspective, then we can have a conversation about being scared.
Then we can be scared about the water. But until then, builders are still building, permits are still being pulled, and the city is giving those out. They know what's going on. Yeah.
Mark says, hey, ladies, nice to see you again. No questions for you today. No problem, Mark. Thanks for saying hi. Alicia says, the water's concerning. News said 50 days. I said that a minute ago. Brent said, nice earrings. Thank you. These are made of skateboards, recycled skateboards.
I love how you do the skateboard because they're always very cool.
MapleXO.com if you want to check out. One of my very good friends, Lindsay Jo Holmes, created this company a long time ago, and it's recycled skateboards. So thank you for that. Let's see. Bring on the buyer's market. Hey, it's a buyer's. I think it's an even market, but yeah, definitely buyers have a little bit more clout than they once did, and I'm grateful for it. It's awesome. Too. Hey, from Miami. Hey, Jean. Let's see. Ben says, do you sell Vegas strip rooms in one of the major tower residences? Yes, Ben. This is a perfect opportunity for me to segue. If you haven't already done so, I just recently put an awesome video up about condo hotels, which is what Ben is asking about. You, my friends, for the very low price of, I don't really know how much actually, I could have an Airbnb property working for you on your behalf here in Las Vegas, on and off the strip, in one of those condo hotels. So please go and watch part 1. Part 2 is coming out on Friday. Very, very excited about the condo hotel conversation. And the biggest reason is because financing is now available for condo hotels. You want to chat about it?
It is. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of financing for condo hotels. And when I'm
now,
talking
there wasn't before. It used to be cash game.
There wasn't, but again, that's where the benefit is because people are afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't want to learn how to do condo hotels, so they don't sell it.
Yeah.
And then that causes fear, so they stay away from it. So it's an untapped market.
Please check out the video.
Definitely use to invest.
Yes, please check out the video. Highly recommend it. We'll run the numbers and help you see if it's going to be, net positive for you or how long it'll be. But who the hell doesn't want to own something that's on or near the strip that you can enjoy yourself, and then when you're not there, is being rented out? Hello? That's like
pretty amazing.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay. Slim says, hi, ladies. Hey, Valentine. Good to see you. You guys are doing a great job. In a past video, you mentioned a really nice restaurant in the Summerlin area. I forgot the name of it. There's a lot. It's probably, I talk about it a lot. Marché Bacchus, I think. It's over in Desert Shores. No, it's French.
Ooh.
And it's on the water in Desert Shores. If you want to check that out, Marché Bacchus. That's my French for you. You're welcome.
Amazing. We should go there after.
It's delicious. Otherwise, we're sitting in the heart of downtown Summerlin right now. So there's a couple of really beautiful restaurants up here as well. Grape Street Cafe is amazing. La Neta is a really good Mexican restaurant. I mean, there's a lot of really good restaurants over here in Summerlin.
I mean, Summerlin's kind of the heart of all.
The other one is El Solito Pisto is a really good Italian one that's made from the chef of Esther's
one that's
Kitchen.
Like off of
Tivoli Village.
Tivoli Village.
Woo,
is that the one that's right on the corner?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is good.
Yeah.
Okay,
now I'm hungry. You want to go eat after this?
Yeah, we probably should.
We're going to hurry up and get through this so we can go and eat. Trace is saying there's empty lots everywhere. So yeah, we have lots and lots of still places to build and lots of land. Let's see. 7 states, Alicia was reminding us for the water stuff. 7 states. Alicia. Thank you, Alicia. Let's see. Janice. Hey, Janice. Good to see you. I was just thinking about you today, actually. I have to call you. Janice and I were taking tap dance classes together.
Oh, were you?
Janice, we need to start up those classes again.
It's always fun to see Janice at your event.
I love Janice. Carl says, were the home prices lower before the Oakland Raiders moved to Las Vegas? I love Summerlin, but can't afford it. LOL. Yes, Kurt. Yes, the Raiders helped stimulate this.
I remember saying, I wonder what it's going to turn into when Vegas has its own team, and we were kind of comparing it to California.
Yeah,
but
it did. Yeah.
Dang, we shouldn't have done that.
It actually,
I need to keep my mouth shut sometimes.
It elevated prices, and then what truly elevated prices was the pandemic most recently is what did it. It bumped the prices for sure, though. We're grateful to have the Raiders here. I just did a recent video about the events happening in Las Vegas starting in August. Please watch that video if you haven't had a chance to. Just came out yesterday, or yesterday or the day before, and it's football season, baby. It's freaking August. Hello, we get to kick off. It's actually a lot of sports seasons, which I didn't realize because I know nothing about sports because I grew up in Las Vegas.
I know, right?
I feel like such an idiot, but I was so excited to do this video. There's almost every sport that we offer is available starting in August. And I'm just stoked to keep updating on that. So watch the video.
One is exciting.
Lots of fun stuff happening this month. Let's see. Jonathan says, hi from Flushing, New York. Hello from Flushing. How are you? Good to see you. James says, I know there's a ton of land, but I could have sworn that I read an article that Clark County will only develop 5 to 10 more years. Oh, that might be, I think I read that article too. I don't think it was housing development. I think it was more like infrastructure development, if I'm not mistaken. But if you find the article, James, please feel free to send that to us. We'll happily cover it. Trace said, I just looked up, quote, 50 days of water thing and found the ABC News article. It's New Mexico, not Nevada.
Wow.
Let me just say that again. That 50 days of drinkable water is New Mexico, not Nevada. I feel kind of bad for New Mexico.
I know.
Is it because Walter White lived there and he had the whole Breaking Bad situation and people like, I don't know. I just love Walter White. I love Breaking Bad. Sorry, I had to go there. Ben says, wow, that was my idea and thought. Thank you. Oh, great. I'm glad he's agreeing with what we're saying. Oscar Love, still waiting on approval from my employer. Oscar, you better hurry up. Want me to call that employer?
But I love that you're trying.
Love that. Amber will make a phone call for you. You let us know how we can get you here faster. Humble Tech TV says, hey there, my wife and I are from Baltimore. Trace Askew is also from Baltimore. She's one of our agents, and she's above you in the comments box. And he says, we're planning to move there. What's your opinion on the school system? I will be very honest with you, and I would love your opinion as well.
Okay.
Our school system definitely has been through the ringer in the last forever and ever. Amen. It's getting better. I'm not as entrenched in it as I used to because my kids are older, 22 and 17.
Mine are too.
And yours are too. But I know that I feel like we've come a long way.
Well, charter schools have definitely helped that. So
that's what I was just
putting more
say,
competition into the school system with charter schools. So you have more options now. We didn't used to have options.
Do you want to do that video with me? I was just about to say that. We're doing that video together.
Okay, let's do it.
To speak about that, no, she's amazing. So like she's right. Clark County has really diversified the options for schooling. So please don't just look at Las Vegas and Clark County as the worst school system. All the bullshit, right?
Too.
Areas are very indicative of that. We can help you look into those things. But the biggest thing you need to know is you kind of are in control when you come to Vegas. Aside from some zoning and some specific stuff, there's almost always a yes in that scenario. We've got magnet schools. We've got amazing like experiential learning programs. We've got incredible programming when it comes to charter schools, private schools, and public.
And there seems like there's more and more all the time. It seems like there's more and more schools opening up all the time.
Yeah. I didn't really think of it that way, that the competition within the school district is what's making them step up their game.
Because I mean, honestly, a kid goes to a charter school, that's kid's going to get the tax money. So then that causes the Clark County to be able to be better at their game or train people
they're buying
more,
for that money.
Because they're buying for that money. It's all about the money, right?
Yes.
So you got to put in more charter schools, and then you're going to get better school systems. And that's what they're doing.
That's awesome. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking. And please reach out to us. Our information, we have some agents we have one agent from Baltimore. She's incredible. She can tell you what it was like to move from Baltimore to Vegas. And then Amber is an incredible lender who could like kind of walk you through what awesome programs might be available if you're trying to sell a home and bridge that gap until you get here. We want to make it easy for you. So please let us be your agents when you come out here. Thanks again, Humble Tech TV. Urban Backed says, is $10K enough to put down on a $200,000 condo?
Yeah. Well, so condos are a little bit different. So it depends on the condo, right? Because non-warrantable condos, you'll need more. If it's FHA approved, then that's a 3.5% down, and $200,000. I mean, $10,000 would cover that 3.5% down. But there's not as many FHA approved, so you got to watch the condo, right? If it's a conventional program or one that's approved conventional, then yeah, you could do 3% down first time home buyer if you're a first time home buyer and do it that way. So yeah,
So,
most
I'm sorry, I
cases,
think
but
we
it
just
depends on
found
the
some
condo.
yeses. I think
we found many yeses.
We
with
found
that.
the truffles
thanks
of
for
yeses.
asking.
Yes, awesome,
sweet
great
spot of
question.
condos, huh?
I hope to hear from you, Urban Backed. I hope you're working with our team. Hello, if we're bringing you this incredible content and finding yeses, I hope that we get to be the ones that help you find that condo. And there are some great condos available right now, like really great deals. Condos haven't really caught up with the crazy surge in Vegas. That's something that I think we probably should talk about.
There's been some negativity with condos.
Yeah.
And it probably stems back to like when the crash happened here, right?
Yeah.
Because but condos had a lot of, and because of that though, a lot of the condo developments have put restrictions on people that can buy there, so they're not selling to a lot of investors and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is great for you.
And honestly, that's, now that I'm thinking about it and like saying it out loud, the less investors, then the less than they're going to be able to manipulate the prices up in those condo
probably
developments.
So during this crazy surge in pricing, I forgot about that.
That's something I didn't even think about.
We should talk about that next time we go live. Condos have they've definitely raised in price, but they did not see the jump that the others
investors couldn't have bought,
because investors couldn't buy them
unless they paid cash.
Right. Well, yeah.
But
rental restrictions and things like that.
They would have had restrictions if
there's rental restrictions a lot of times too. So that definitely keeps investors kind of out of that game.
So and condos might be a good option then.
I have a condo.
My mind was just enlightened.
I have a condo that's almost 1,200 square feet with a full two-car garage right now. Gorgeous, clean, pristine in one of the nicest neighborhoods in Las Vegas. It's listed for $299. Okay. And it's not even like a condo. It's genuinely like a full-sized house. It's crazy.
Well, not only that too, when you're looking at condos, their taxes are cheap. The condos their taxes are pretty cheap.
They have
I think.
really nice pools and beautiful grounds. And all right, we'll get off the condo.
Yeah.
We're going to do a video about condos because that's a really good idea. Moses says, aloha from Hawaii. Hello. Always good to watch your girls wherever I get a chance. Vegas is still crazy, making it hard for me to pull the plug to buy. Oh, Mosa, call us. We'll talk to you. I hope you watched earlier because we gave some really good news today and some ways for you to buy. And I think that you'd be pretty awesomely strategic if you took that path.
Yeah, so let's think outside the box.
Let us talk to you. Even if you're sitting on the fence waiting to pull the plug, let us at least sit there with you and talk about it, right? Like, let's go. Birds on a wire, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Trace says, Baltimore in the house.
Random
I know. Chris M says, hi, I have no fun questions today. Chris, it's okay. We still love you. Thanks for being here.
Joining, Chris.
Dylan B, I need to talk to one of you too about moving to Vegas in the future. How do I schedule a phone appointment? Dylan, great question. In the description of every single video on this channel, as well as at the very top of these comments, I have pinned our contact information. You can certainly contact us right away. Trace, I think, is in here. Oh yeah, she's doing it. She's already in here replying to you, but we would love to chat with you and chat with you soon, sooner rather than later.
We're excited to talk to you.
Lacey, can you do a video of a drive around Green Valley, or do you have one out of Green Valley? I love that area so much. Kurt, I love Green Valley also. I think I've done one. But we have another channel called the Cerrone Group channel. If you go to the description of this video or any video on this channel, you can click and find it there. We've got 360 tour drives of all crazy places in Las Vegas. I'm pretty sure Green Valley is one of them, where you can control the camera and turn it and look at what you want to see. I am doing more driving videos, but the heat has prevented me from being as aggressive about it because the camera is literally shut off when it's too hot. So stay tuned for that. But check out the Cerrone Group channel for driving tours. Yes. And yes, I will absolutely be doing Green Valley once I'm able to get the cameras to stay on. All right. Michael says, I am a level 2 sex offender living in New York City. I'm so sorry that you are there, and thank you for watching us. I don't know if sex offenders have a hard time renting or buying houses here. I don't think it has anything to do with, because you can't be
I don't really know.
You can't be, what's it called? Discriminated against. I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah.
So I don't think so, but definitely if you're looking to rent, that might be an issue. So maybe buying is better. I do think you'll probably have to register with the city and county to follow all the rules. But thank you for being so vulnerable and letting us know.
Thank you.
We hope to see you move to Vegas and enjoy your life here. Carrie says, new development happening in 89102 by Palace Station. Still unsure of what it'll be, but the bulldozing will be starting any day now. Nerve-wracking being 1 block away from it. Hope it's good. Carrie. Hello, Carrie. I'm so glad that you're so close.
Stay in contact, though.
Thank you for that info. I don't know what they're doing either. I have no idea.
See that.
We'll check that out. Humble TV says, thanks for the feedback. Tracy's, what's the best way to get in touch? So she's going to let you know. Thank you so much. Show it. Yeah, she's the one that's going to be actually the one that, if you click the link, she'll be the one that calls you. If you text our phone, she'll be the one that replies. If you send us an email, that's going to be the person. So say hi to Trace, everybody.
Trace is a beautiful person.
She's a beautiful soul. I love her so much. Chris M says, this is going to be our last question for today. Chris M, in your opinion, where is the most romantic place to take a first date to go metal detecting in Las Vegas. Metal detecting, I'll tell you. Okay, romantic or just cool. I think metal detecting would be fun if you go to Nelson's Landing out by Lake Mead. It's about 25 minutes, 30 minutes from the Strip. Really rad, very cool. Lots of cool, like it's like American Pickers basically on the side of the road, and it's rad. If you want to go romantic, I would definitely take your date out to Valley of Fire. Valley of Fire is beautiful, or even Red Rock. Honestly, beautiful, beautiful.
I love
places.
how you always know the answers.
I always have the damn answer about Las Vegas. So we are so grateful you joined us today. We did have a lot of conversation, but we really hope that it was meaningful and that it might have helped you understand and not be fearful and be less fearful, right?
Yes.
Get the fear out of here. Let's be greedy while people are fearful.
It doesn't serve us, right?
It doesn't serve us. What will serve you, though, is the information that we're sharing and knowing that we are being these strategic agents on the ground trying to help educate sellers and
thinking
buyers.
Outside the box.
Hell yeah. And we want to do that for you. So thank you again. If you ever want to know how to get in touch with us, it's always in the description. Always. And you can also find it today in the top, pinned at the top of the beautiful comments box below. We love you. We appreciate you being here. Amber, I love you.
I love you too.
I appreciate you being here, my little unicorn.
I appreciate you being you too.
Thank you. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Amber's out of town next week, so she's not going to be here. She's having a beautiful time.
Refreshed.
She's going to be so refreshed when she comes back, but I will be seeing you next week live around the same time. So join me next Wednesday. And otherwise, we'll see you next week, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our Airbnb Condotel videos on Friday. And I've also got some fun lifestyle stuff coming up too. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.